So, I've decided to invest in a couple of GoPro's. The reason for this is because there's a few hopefully good projects coming up that will really benefit from having some decent action cameras to film stuff, and you as the audience will benefit from having actually decent footage for once. So I decided to buy two GoPro's to cover multiple angles basically. So I got a GoPro Hero 6 and a GoPro Hero 5, with the 6 just being a little bit better quality version of the 5. So the 6 are probably for filming like the main shots and the 5 for like more risky scenarios. So I didn't want to spend loads of money on these, so I went for the second-hand option. And to really try and get these as cheap as possible, I ended up getting ones on auction that were missing their side door because I thought these would be fairly easy to replace. And at first I bought cheap Chinese clones of the side door, but I tried that and they weren't a very good fit. They were relatively poor quality and I didn't trust them to be waterproof. So I decided to go for the real thing. Now these replacement side doors were actually really hard to get hold of. Because GoPro, as soon as they released the next camera, they stopped making everything for the previous camera. And these were pretty expensive too, at £20 per door just for a little piece of plastic. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the doors on the camera, and then hopefully we should have a waterproof camera. So, you may have noticed that these are both marketed for the Hero 5 Black, but I'm 95% certain that they will fit both the GoPros. I'm fairly certain the doors are identical, and when you put the cameras next to each other they're near enough identical as well. So I'm going to crack these open now, and I've already had this one open, and one of the things that I couldn't believe is how much packaging has been wasted here. I mean, look how big this little part is and how big the box and everything is. So that's not a good start. But here is the little door that I paid 20 quid for. So it's not actually hard to replace these components. You literally just clip them in. So we're going to press in the button on the side to open the door, and then line it up with the clip with the metal bar, and it just literally clips right in. So we're going to shut that, and there we go. That's one done. So now we're going to do exactly the same for the other one. So, as I said, this door that came with this one, the clip snaps so it doesn't lock properly. So, the same again. So there we go, that's the two doors replaced. So these should both now be waterproof. But we're not going to take that for granted. We're going to test these to ensure that they are, so when I do need to put them underwater I can be certain that they're going to be fine. So here we are at the high-tech George's Shed GoPro testing facility. So what we're going to do to test if the doors work is we're just going to chuck them in some water. So I filled the sink half up with water, so we're going to chuck the GoPros in, and then I'm going to turn the tap back on to jostle the water to make it a bit more of a harder test. So I'm going to turn this GoPro, the Hero 6, on. I'm going to leave the Hero 5 off because there isn't a battery in it, and the current SD card I have is in the camera that you're watching this on, and I can't be bothered to go get the other one, so we're going to chuck these in here. There's one. And there's two. I'm going to face the doors to where the tap's going to spray. So now I'm going to turn the tap back on. And I'm going to leave them like that for 5 minutes, check them, and then leave them like that for 15 minutes and check them again. Okay, so they've now been in there for about 5 minutes. So I'm just going to fish them out. The Hero 6 is still turned on, so that's a good sign. So I'm going to dry them off and make sure they are completely dry inside. So I've now dried them both off, so the moment of truth is to open the side door and confirm that they are in fact dry. So the Hero 5 is dry. And the Hero 6 is also dry. So I'm going to chuck them back in for another 20 minutes and then we'll check them again. So it's been just over 20 minutes now, so we're going to fish them out, dry them off again, and then just double check they're fine, which I'm sure they will be. So now is the moment of truth. So the Hero 5 first, undo the door. And that looks pretty dry to me. And the Hero 6. Burn dry once again. So let's finally recap exactly how much we spent on these two pretty good condition GoPros. So that is a pretty cheap amount to spend on two essentially as good as new GoPros. Fairly recent additions that can shoot in 4K, 60 and 30 frames per second respectively, and will be ideal for the needs of the shed. So if you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to see these GoPros in action. Bye!